Hey everybody, how are you? I am going live and trying out going live on TikTok, on Facebook, and on YouTube all at the same time. And I'm going to try to keep an eye on everything. Great to have you here. And we are talking about college music audition success. What do you need to do to prepare to be successful in college music auditions? What do you need to know? And as somebody who has spent, well, I've been playing the cello. My students and I calculated this. I'm 57. I started the 67. I started the cello when I was 11, so that's 56 years. Yeah, I've been playing the cello for 56 years. How are we doing? It says 0 people. Well, we'll keep going. 56 years, and let's see what we've got here. What is this showing me as live? Let's say home. Okay. I don't even know if this is working in terms of being live on Facebook. So I want Riley, be quiet. Be quiet. Sit down. Okay. I'm working to do this. What is my channel? Boop, 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 boop. Notifications, home, you. Let's try this. Playlists. Anybody here on anywhere? It says there is one person watching somewhere. Hey, calm down. The dog is restless. So we're talking about college music auditions, and I want to answer your questions. I can easily see questions that are posted here on TikTok, and I don't know if I'm going to see them directly on Facebook or on YouTube. I'm kind of toggling on my iPad between, but I am not seeing my live on those. However, it is showing me that, okay, it's showing me that I'm live. Okay, that's great. So you can definitely ask a question on Facebook. And I don't know about YouTube. Anyway, my day's been good. How about yours? I'm really excited to have, to take everything that I've learned. So I did my first audition for a school in 1974 when I auditioned to be a high school student at the North Carolina School of the Arts. And then I was there, and then I went on to Juilliard. Kind of says, you are what, DL? I'm not sure what that means because I'm an old guy now. But I want to talk about what worked for me, what didn't work for me. And then since 1974, I finished high school at North Carolina School of the Arts. I went to my first year of college there. I auditioned for and was accepted to and went to Juilliard for a while. Then I transferred to the Peabody Conservatory, which is part of Johns Hopkins University, because I wanted to study with a teacher there. And I started teaching in Baltimore at Peabody, and I was the first cello teacher at the Baltimore School for the Arts when it first opened. And then I went on to be a graduate teaching assistant at Stony Brook and at Florida State. Got my master's at Stony Brook. Men love money. Yeah, I'm really good at spending money for sure. Anyway, so I've been teaching cello since sometime in the late 1970s. I taught at Interlochen Arts Camp for 4 years. I was the cello professor at a wonderful School of Music at DePauw University for 30 years. And I still teach privately, and I am working with one of my students to prepare for his music school auditions, and I made me aware of how much guidance assistance is needed. And so I'm doing this experiment in going live simultaneously. I have another channel, Gay Grandpa Eric, where I talk about LGBTQIA plus issues, and so I'm not down low. I'm definitely out and proud. All right. So I see that we have one view on Facebook. Let me see what I see about YouTube. How do I see my own live stream on YouTube? Let's see. View channel. Oh, there it is. Okay. Let's get that on there. Okay. No messages on there. So I have a list of topics. This is an opportunity for me to practice being on camera. Okay, looks like we've got 5 people. I'm going to go back and forth between Facebook and YouTube monitoring things. If you are on Facebook or YouTube watching this, please write a comment. Meanwhile, preparing for college music auditions, especially when you're a high school student, and those are looming up, it can be a really confusing, overwhelming process. And one of the questions that people sometimes ask is, when is a good time to start? When should I be starting doing that? And my advice is certainly by the beginning of your junior year, you should be thinking about it. Some people, when they are 16 years old, and that's kind of like the typical age at the start of the junior year of college, are really sure that they are a musician, that is what their life is going to be about, that is their calling, so to speak, and that's what they are going to major in music. And usually that is going to take the form of being a music performance major or being a music ed major. Some types of people are clear that they're a musician, but they know what a difficult life it can be as a professional musician, and that it is not always financially lucrative. So they are thinking about studying music in college, but also getting prepared to do something else, at least possibly as a living. And I have had many students who came to DePauw in particular, where I was the cello professor for 30 years, who were planning to develop themselves as musicians and also do something like follow a pre-med curriculum, and actually have a number of students who've gone on to be doctors. Okay, we've got some questions here. Can someone learn playing instruments if they're over 30? Yeah, absolutely. It's never too late to start, and I've worked with a number of adults. It's easier to start an instrument if you're even pre-adolescent, but you can certainly do it after 30. Okay, Avi is making inappropriate comments, so we're going to mute that account. On my other account, I have, why is this not letting me turn it off? Okay, hold on. So anyway, college is the time to kind of, for a lot of people, to discover who you are. Okay, block the account, confirm, all right. I do not want to block any words. Okay, let's just do, this is not TikTok. There we go. Okay. AJ, thank you for the like. Maybe I'll, I wonder if I can put the phone here against my laptop. That's a little bit easier. Okay. We have that going. All right, let me look over. I don't see any questions or comments on Facebook. So you can definitely consider double majoring, or you can consider doing a 5-year double degree that's possible at a number of schools. Used to be possible at DePaul, where I was teaching, um, not so much now, because we no longer have a Bachelor of Music and Performance degree at DePaul. That's what the 5-year double major was. But there are schools like Lawrence and Oberlin and I believe Baldwin Wallace, where it's possible to do that. So, okay, hold on. My dog is doing something naughty. I'll be right back. Riley, what the heck are you doing? I am back. My dog likes to eat paper for some reason, and my dog gets jealous when I'm talking to other people. So when I sit and I'm talking into my phone or I'm talking into the camera on my laptop, he'll get rambunctious. Yes wants to know, what do I have on my other account? The other account that I have is Gay Grandpa Eric, and it's where I post affirming messages. Uh, when I was a teenager, it was really, really difficult for me to accept myself as gay, and so um, maybe a few years ago now, I started telling stories of what it was like for me, how I kind of got infected by homophobia from my parents, and then uh, how I came to accept myself. Okay, so we talked about there's a lot of ways to study music in college. Not every way of studying music in college requires a audition, but if you can be a music ed major or you're wanting to be a music performance major, you definitely need to audition. Or if you're not going to be a major, but perhaps you're going to be a music minor, there are a lot of schools, and here I am talking to people who are high school students now or the parents of people who are high school students. There are a lot of schools where you can get a scholarship, a merit scholarship to play in the orchestra or the band or to sing in the choir if you are particularly accomplished on your instrument, even if you're not a music major. Yes. Oh, you're aware of the other account, and that's how you found this. Yeah. Very good. With that account has, one purpose, and then I've made this other account. Uh, really, it's like, what did I need to hear when I was 15, 16 years old when it came to being a musician? Just as the Gay Grandpa Eric account exists for me to kind of share what is it that I wish I had heard people say when I was 14 or 15 or 16 and discovering that I was attracted to other guys. And Josito, if you're still here, I am doing very well. Just looking to see how we're doing on other channels. What I need is another laptop so I can be looking at Facebook and YouTube at the same time. And of course, let's see, we don't have any messages on YouTube so far. Yes, thank you. I will post videos of myself playing music. No, I do have two laptops. One of them is just not charged, and I haven't tried going live on multiple accounts for quite a while. So I'm live here on TikTok, and this is also going live to my Facebook page and also live to my Eric Edberg Music YouTube. But thank you, and thank you for the offer. And the way I'm doing this, on my laptop, I am using Restream to send the stream to both Facebook. Thank you for the hearts, whoever just sent those. So anyway, I'm using Restream to stream to Facebook and YouTube, and then I'm using my phone to go out on TikTok. So here I really would love to answer questions. If anybody wants to know something about um, preparing for college music auditions. Anyway, best case scenario is to start thinking about it in your sophomore year, be exploring the question in your junior year. As I said before, some of us know by the time we're sophomores or juniors in high school that we are musicians, that's what we want to do with our life, that we kind of can't not do it. And I, for my entire career, have always said, if you could be happy not being a musician, not having, or at least not being a full-time musician, don't be a full-time musician. There are a lot more secure ways to make a difference in the world and be well compensated financially or in a stable way. And particularly as a classically trained musician, and if you're somebody rooted in love for what we call classical music, it is an increasingly difficult way to make a living. And it really requires for most people a real comfort with being an entrepreneur to some extent or another. Getting a full-time orchestra job, getting a full-time college job like I had is becoming more and more difficult as there are fewer and fewer of those jobs, and there are more and more well-trained, wonderful people who are prepared to take places in orchestras and to take places on college faculties. Okay, so we're going to go over some other topics. What's going on here? Yeah, okay. I see me going on YouTube. This is kind of fun looking at both things. All right. What's going on over on Facebook? I don't see any comments. Okay. Hopefully they would pop up if there are. If you're watching on Facebook or if you're watching on YouTube and you just happen to be a friend of mine and you're not interested in a long conversation about preparing for college music auditions, please write a comment just so I can see that it's working and say hi. Okay, so what are some things? I wrote down some questions in case there weren't many people here. What do top music schools look for in an instrumental audition besides playing just the right notes? That's a really good question. So it's kind of the whole package. And I have heard a number of people say things like they want to hear some individuality. They want to hear some ideas. They want to hear some creativity, not like changing the notes, but like you really have something to say. So at a very top music school, it is not just can you play all the right notes in the right rhythm with a good sound. Now, that is kind of a prerequisite. That is like, we have that. Then, is there a love for music that is coming through when you play? And that, being well prepared in that you can play on whatever level playing you're playing is, that you can play all the right notes and all the right rhythms and play with a good sound, and what we sometimes say, really make music with what you're playing. That is what really makes a difference in an audition, whether it is at a Juilliard or Curtis level audition, whether it's an audition for a major symphony orchestra, or whether you're auditioning for a music scholarship or admission to a music program at a small state university or private liberal arts college. Yes, and yes, as you're saying, it is an experimental live, and this topic is not, when I go live on my other account, LGBTQ issues tend to get a lot more viewers, and of course, I have a lot more followers over there. So we're um, building this one up from scratch. But the thing that I tell people, it's now, and now we're going to go to repertoire selection. There's a certain level of repertoire for a, a school that isn't really selected, is actively looking to recruit students and is willing to take people with very limited amount of prior training and who are on a, maybe high, intermediate, or low advanced level on their instrument. And then there are schools where you really have to come in able to play the first movement of a major concerto, to play solo Bach well. I'm talking about string repertoire that it's different for other instruments, and possibly be able to sight read. Also for kind of big name schools, if you're on the double bass or you're on wind and brass instruments, uh, they're going to be orchestra excerpts also. Yes, thanks for the encouragement. Yeah. Hopefully you'll get thousands of interested followers and you'll keep this going. Yeah, I'm absolutely going to keep this going, especially for young music students who are also LGBTQ+. Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting kind of niche, as they say in the conversations about how to be a TikTok and social media influencer, or I want to think of it not so much as being an influencer, but a helper. So build up a following. If I'm not in a be global live in a creator network, do you need one? That's a interesting. How I'll follow you. Um, well, there we go. There we go. You help with suspensions, promote your stream, set up battles, boost engagements, stuff like that. Okay. Yep. Thanks. On my other account, I did join some kind of organization that was supposed to help. They didn't actually do anything. Be Global Live says you sent a TikTok thingamajig. Thank you very much. Okay, so I want to go back to the college musical auditions. The thing that is the most important thing, whatever the level of repertoire that you play, is that you play music or you sing music. But I really know much more about instrumental auditions and bowed string instrument auditions in particular, that you play music that you've been playing for a while and that you have performed, that is firmly within your technical control, and that you love and that you really make music with when you play. And it doesn't matter how advanced the piece is. It's how you play it. And I say this, I'm finding myself saying this all the time, that you play it with love, that you play it with commitment, that you play it with a sense of the emotional journey that that piece of music takes people on. And that when you are playing for an audition committee, you're not in the mode of mentally trying to count mistakes that they may be, deducting points for, that you are playing as you would for anybody else, giving this music as a gift to the people who are listening. Yeah, says, I hate to leave you, but I have to go. We'll try to join next time you go live if I'm not busy. Okay, that would be great. I'm going to try to go live most evenings for a while. I did that for, like 9 months. I went live every night on my other account, and we built up quite a following there. It's great to have you with us. Yes, are you a musician? Or are you just a gay grandpa fan? who else is here? Would love to have any questions. You're a Gay Ramp-Up fan. Okay, great. All right. I'm hoping that TikTok in particular is a way that I can reach kids who are in high school because they need to hear this. So I'm going to go back to sophomore year of high school when you're, say, around 15 years old. That's a time to start asking yourself the question, uh, do, do I want to study music in college? Do I want to consider being a music major in college? And what are the different ways of being a music major in college? Then as you're moving into your junior year, you want to be looking at as many options as possible. And I strongly recommend making a spreadsheet or a table in a doc. And you'd love to learn to play music, but not now. Okay. Let me say, it's never too late to start. And listen, a great way to have a musical outlet on an instrument is to get a good hand drum. And it's very beginner friendly to play a hand drum. And you can not only develop skills pretty quickly, and I mean, you can really enjoy playing a hand drum the first time that you play it, and then continue getting more and more skills on it, and you can enjoy playing, especially in a community, not culturally specific drum circle right away. Right away. And what's going on over here? Okay, not much. My watch is going to die soon. Okay, so junior year, you're thinking about where you might go to school. So I have a current student who has one of the biggest musical gifts I've ever encountered. We've been having these conversations probably since she was a freshman in high school. And for a while, she was absolutely certain that she wanted to be a music education major. Now she's thinking about becoming a physician and doing pre-med. It's shifting around. But one thing for sure I can say is that if she is so much a musician that if she doesn't continue making music, I would predict that she would suffer to some extent as a person and come to regret it later in life. And good night to you, yes. And look forward to seeing you again. And I'm going to stay on till 11:30, and then I'm going to go to bed. And who else is here? Any questions? We can talk about anything. I'm looking to build up a community of people who are high school students getting ready to audition for music programs at the college level. And I also want to have, as part of that community, parents of those students and also teachers of those students. And Noah, thank you for whatever gift that you sent. It says you just got the number 2 gifter badge. And thank you for the likes. That's really great. Let me see. And hello, Mellow Lilip? I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Welcome. We're talking about preparing for college music auditions. And you know what? It is very similar to preparing for a theater audition, preparing for giving talks, all sorts of things like that. When you're thinking about going to college as an undergraduate freshman, as I've been saying, good to start thinking about it in the sophomore year. Really start thinking about what you're going to do in your junior year, and then by the beginning of your senior year, have know where it is that you to apply, or have a list of places that you're seriously considering applying, and you discuss those options. And here's what's really important. You discuss those options with somebody who knows the field and has a sense of who you are. Your private teacher on your instrument is the first person to talk with. Your band or orchestra teacher is also an important person to talk with. And then there is probably a community of other adult musicians that you are networked with, that you know somehow, maybe people who lead sectionals or are assistant conductors of the youth orchestra, all sorts of things like that. You want to talk through your options with them. You want to get advice from them. If you are a college senior, by now you're picking your repertoire. You're going to be doing pre-screening auditions quite soon if you're having to do pre-screening auditions. So you want that repertoire to be set, and all your fingerings and bowings, if you're a string player, set. Don't be changing things now. You want to be, especially if you're going to be doing your live auditions in January and February, some schools even early March, you'll be going and playing the pieces that you are going to play for your audition as many places as you can. And you can play them for friends. That can be a little awkward to set up, I know, but also go play at nursing homes, see if you can play it at schools. I know if you're in school, it's hard to get out of school to go something and go play at an elementary school, but sometimes you'll find that you're the person who teaches strings, for example, or orchestra at your high school probably does that also at middle school and maybe feeder elementary schools, or primary. Sometimes they're broken up now, elementary school, like K through 2 and 3 through 6. And I'm trying to remember what intermediate schools. So often the person who directs your orchestra is also working at other schools, and maybe can arrange to take you out of school for a period or two so that you can play somewhere else. It's just performing pieces that you love and that you know really well is the best way to prepare for your audition. Oh, and Mellow Lip, you want to learn cello? Hey, that's great. How old are you? So let me see, what else do I have on my list of questions? How important is the teacher-student match when choosing a college or conservatory, and how do I research or contact potential teachers? I'd say that the student-teacher match is just one of the top considerations when you're going to a music school, and especially if you're going as a performance major, it is the single most important factor. So let me say that again. If you are going to be a music performance major, the teacher that you go to study with is the most important factor. It's not the only important factor, but that there is a good match between your learning style, your musical personality, the teacher's learning style, the teacher's level of competence, and how you two interact with each other. That is really important. So you want to find out as much as you can about the teacher or teachers at the school or schools that you're considering. You should definitely be considering a range of schools. You want to, if at all possible, have a lesson with the teacher that you want to have. Now, if it's a really big name teacher where everybody is wanting a sample lesson, that's not always possible. What is sometimes possible is to arrange, when you have a campus visit, to sit in on some lessons that person is teaching. I did that when I was a high school senior. I spent a day watching lessons that Larry Lesser, who was still teaching at the New England Conservatory, was teaching. I was really interested in studying with him, and then I just decided to stay with my current teacher for another year. Um, so if you can't actually observe lessons, see if you can sit in on a studio class. If you can attend a in-person or virtual master class that teacher is giving. And now a lot of teachers have video content of themselves teaching, and you can get a good sense of who they are by not only that kind of solo looking into the camera demonstration, giving tips, videos, get a really kind of good sense of people's personality and their approach. But a lot of times you can find videos of them working with a student, and you can kind of see what kind of interaction is going on there. And some things to look for is the teaching style interactive? Is there a dialogue, a conversation going on between the teacher and the student? Or is the teacher just being very didactic and giving instructions more than interacting in, like I just said, a dialogue kind of fashion? It's not that one is better than the other, but it may be that one is going to be more effective for you. And I think maybe the last thing I'll talk about, and then I'm going to go get ready for bed because I have a long day tomorrow, that finding the teacher for you is very much like finding the instrument for you. And earlier I was talking to somebody on here who wishes they could play an instrument or would like to start an instrument, but isn't ready to, go through everything that we go through to learn kind of a based in classical music instrument like the cello. And I suggested playing a hand drum, because you can enjoy playing a hand drum from the moment that you pick it up. In the community of people who do a lot of hand drumming, and especially who do hand drumming with drums from Africa or drums derived from African drums, there's a saying that you don't choose the drum chooses you. So you go to drum stores and you play, let's say, djembes. You play a lot of djembes, and there's going to be a djembe that says that like chooses you. Kind of reminds me of the was it Picking a Wand in the first Harry Potter book? There's like, there'll be a chemistry. And the same thing happens with a student and a teacher, that when you have your sample lesson, and man, if they're, the vast majority of schools need students, and the teachers are giving free sample lessons. You get to more selective schools, sometimes you have to pay for a sample lesson. That is a really worthwhile investment, I think, because you need to see how you interact with that teacher. And you kind of know if there's that spark. It's like, oh yeah, this is the person I need now in my life to guide me. Okay. Noah says, I want to go to school for trombone performance, but how much will knowing piano affect that? Well, the more piano skills you have, the better. It is not necessary that for you to have any piano skills to get in even to a major conservatory. So the question I would ask you, is what year in school are you? And whatever year in school you are, if you're not taking piano lessons now, I would start taking piano lessons as soon as possible and get to know the piano. Playing the piano is really helpful in being able to visualize intervals and connect that with sound, because the piano keyboard and Western, you know, 5-line staff musical notation go really, really well together. And when you are in what we used to call ear training class, where among other things, you are learning to listen to music and write it down, so what we call dictation. 90% of the time, if not 100% of the time, the music that you are writing down is being played for you on a piano. And so people who have played the piano develop, if you don't have what people call perfect pitch, or the ability to just hear a note and know what note it is, uh, and you don't have highly developed relative pitch, there's something that some people call piano pitch, or it's that you hear the timbre of a particular note on the piano starts to become something that you recognize. Just as I, if all the dictations when I was in college, if they'd all been, cello music, would have been much easier for me than listening to them on the piano, because I hadn't taken a lot of piano. So that is, there's two benefits: just your understanding of notation, your understanding of intervals, and your understanding of harmony, all kind of keyboard based in Western music traditions. And then there's piano pitch, which is very helpful in dictations. And thank you. No, it says you are the #1 gifter. And you got a badge for that. That's great. Okay, it is after 11:30. I'm an old 67-year-old man. And I need to get up in the morning. And the dog wants to go out. So I'm going to do that. Thank you, everybody here on TikTok. Thank you if you've been watching on Facebook. Thank you if you've been watching on YouTube. We'll be doing more of these now that I know how to do it. And I appreciate it very much. If you're not following me, please do. Please go look at the videos that I posted so far. Honest to gosh, I am looking at everything I have learned, all my experiences since I went in the spring of 1974 to audition to be a high school student at what is now called the University of North Carolina School of the Arts, and did my last 2 years of high school there, auditioned to be a college student there. Then after my teacher, who I love very much, decided not to keep teaching there, then I auditioned for and got into the Juilliard School, et cetera, and then 45 years of teaching experience. I'm just trying to look at everything that I've learned about preparing for college auditions that I wish I had known, or that I can look back and see, well, I didn't know it. My teachers were guiding me in a really great way that I have seen over the last 45 years that students don't always have the kind of guidance that I was fortunate to have. So I want to make that available for people. I want to reinforce, my gosh, I wish somebody was reinforcing with my own students the kind of things that I'm telling you here, because they don't always do the stuff that I'm telling them to do, or it really takes some work to get them to trust what I'm telling them when they're feeling really anxious. Okay. Says Pixie Dustin Maine, follow the live creator. Thank you. Anyway, thank you for the likes. Thank you for the follows. Please, if you know people who are auditioning, going to be auditioning for music school, or you know people who know people, please share some of my content with them so that we can get it to them, because it's really going to make a difference. And I'm going to go to bed. Thank you very much, and see you probably tomorrow night. yes, I am sure I want to end the stream. And thank you, everybody who's watching on